Now, when anybody buys a new smartphone today, checking for its camera quality is probably one of the top priorities on your list. And that is the reason why there are some things around cameras on smartphones and the marketing around cameras on smartphones that has me really irritated.
FE's front-facing camera is just as amazing.
The Realme 9 Pro Plus gives you the best photography experience.
The best cameras in the mid-premium segment.
And we keep making iPhone better.
Now, you can consider this a pet peeve of mine, but I'm pretty certain that you guys will also resonate with some of these points that I'm going to be mentioning in this video. I'm going to be covering about 7 points in this video, and trust me, the 6th and the 7th points are going to be very important, so stay tuned till the end. My name is Ershad, you're watching Trakin Tech English. Dear smartphone brands, please fix your cameras. After testing so many cameras in the past 2-3 years, I'm fairly certain that no 2 megapixel depth camera is doing anything to add to the edge detection or even the fake blur on the rear. Also, those 2 megapixel macro cameras aren't really adding any value. I'm not really a fan of macro photography, but if you are a fan of macro photography, you can actually use either the telephoto or the ultrawide to achieve similar results sometimes. For example, on the Samsung Galaxy S21 FE that I have been testing lately, you can actually use the 3x telephoto to crop in closer to the subject and take similar kind of macros that you can with a proper 5 megapixel macro as well. Now, in the second point, what I want to say is that zoom range marketing is quite misleading these days. And when Apple announced the iPhone 12 Pro Max, there was some confusion around the maximum zoom range that it could do. What Apple mentioned in its marketing material was that the iPhone 12 Pro Max can actually do 5x optical zoom range. Now, I stressed on the range because technically the optical zoom camera can only do 2.5x zoom. Now, 1x, 2x, 3x, 5x, 10x are all very relative terms. What matters is the focal length, and any photographer will tell you that. Unfortunately, normal consumers find that difficult to digest when you're talking about focal length, and there's a lot of science involved around it. Therefore, they prefer to have simpler terms like 1x, 2x, 3x, and 5x. Now, what this means is that sometimes the main camera, the primary camera on your smartphone could have anything from a 23mm attached lens to a 28mm attached lens. Now, when you calculate the 2x optical zoom range, that can vary from 46mm to 56mm. What Realme does is exactly that, where it tells you the focal length of the lens, and that makes it really easy for you to actually judge the distance that you're covering with these different lenses. Now, do you like your smartphones telling you that you don't look good and that you need to whiten your face? Well, that's my biggest problem with the beauty mode, which is set as default on many smartphones these days. Brands, you don't get to dictate unrealistic beauty standards. Don't set that as the default. Let people take natural pictures, and then if they want to or choose to change the shape of the jawline or the face or the eyes, let them go ahead and do that. I really detest beauty modes on smartphones. In fact, sometimes it so happens that people take a picture with the phone at the offline store and then immediately realize that, oh my god, this is actually making me look white, so this is not a good camera. But that's not necessarily the case. You can actually switch off the beauty mode and take it in natural setting as well. And talking about default modes, the other thing that I don't really like is AI cameras or artificial intelligence cameras. The Infinix Zero 5G, and I have to mention it out here, has only an AI mode. It doesn't even have a regular photo mode. What this means is that it's constantly detecting scenes and taking pictures. Now, what if the AI cannot detect food, or what if it cannot detect a landscape? Then you get a shot that doesn't look as good either. Again, the choice of whether I want to take a picture using the artificial intelligence mode or not should rest with me. Or you, the users. And in any case, the final outputs are going to be JPEGs anyway. You're going to be doing software processing anyway. Then why do you want to add artificial intelligence and scene detection modes on top of it? That also kills color sense consistency when you're taking pictures. Really, I'm telling you, scene detection is something that should not be set as default, and it should be an opt-in feature. Now, the processing on smartphone cameras is what makes smartphone camera photography absolutely beautiful. From portrait mode shots to HDR shots to night mode shots, I really love multi-frame processing that is possible because of really powerful processors inside smartphones. Having said that, I do have a problem with night mode these days. What I think personally is that all of these smartphone cameras are trying to make night look like day. Brands can actually make it easier to shoot pictures to make night look like night within the camera app itself. Maybe they just give you a toggle of, make night look like night, call it whatever you want to, and then, maybe make it even brighter. And it's anyway multi-frame processing, so it shouldn't be too difficult to implement either. So yeah, make night look like night and not like day. Now, if you come this far in this video and if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button and the bell icon right next to it. And maybe even give us a like so that, the YouTube algorithm can recommend this video to more folks wanting such videos. Now, like I mentioned, this is the sixth point. The most irritating thing about flagship phones these days. They can shoot 8K videos at 24 FPS or 30 FPS. They can shoot 4K videos at 60 FPS with gimbal stabilization also, and crazy stabilization options available. But God forbid, if they give you an option to shoot 4K 30 FPS videos or 4K 60 FPS videos using the front camera, their phones will not sell. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. Why would you limit the user to just 1080p 30 FPS or 60 FPS video recording from the front camera? And you know what? This year's Pro phones are the biggest offenders in this list. The Xiaomi 12 Pro, the OnePlus 10 Pro, the iQOO 9 Pro, the Realme GT2 Pro, and maybe more Pro phones will be added in the future. And that is why I like brands like Apple and Samsung, which create parity for video recording across all the lenses. You get 4K 60 FPS even on the Samsung Galaxy S21 FE. You guys remember this, right? The OnePlus Nord could do 4K video recording, but the OnePlus 10 Pro cannot. I just can't wrap my head around this. Now, talking about video recording consistency, I also don't like the fact that brands don't spend enough time on color science consistency across the lenses that they're providing on their smartphone cameras. Please don't add a 2 megapixel depth camera. Please don't pad your camera setup with a 2 megapixel macro camera, but spend some time on color science consistency. In fact, it's not necessarily true that color science consistency is great even on iPhones. I mean, it's really good on the iPhone, but even when you're shooting low light pictures using an ultra wide and the regular camera in night mode, the color science consistency is sometimes shot to hell. Now, why does color science consistency matters? Even when we are shooting our videos, sometimes it misses out and it's really difficult to actually maintain that. But on a smartphone camera, when you're actually processing the images, what you need to do at the back end is actually ensure that the JPEG processing happens with the same color science. Again, if you keep adding AI modes to it, it's going to be really difficult to do that as well. So humble request, please get color science consistency right, at least in your flagship cameras. So yeah, those were the points that I wanted to make about camera setups on smartphones in 2022 and actually, over the few years as well. Now let me know if you have any specific points that you'd like to mention in the comment section below. And brands, if you're watching this video, please take this as constructive feedback so that you can improve your camera performance on smartphones. So that's it from me for this video. Until the next one, this is Ershad signing off. Keep tracking and stay safe.